Right back. I want to say, ew, but I won't. Now look at this. You know, I'm not a bit squeamish about things. I told him I have slaughtered lambs, but for some reason he looks sort of threatening. So this looks like a beautiful lobster, and you said don't get too close to the mouth because he could bite me, and those are actually stronger than his claws. So tell us a little bit. I'm going to hand Harvey over there to you, and you can tell us all about what you're going to do with him. And tell us why they rubber band the claws also.
Well, lobsters are cannibals. They will eat each other, and they will hurt you if you try and pick them up. This could probably break a pencil in half.
Oh my.
When you pick a lobster up, pick them up like this. Treat them gentle, and it'll last longer for you. You don't want to stress a lobster out right before you cook it. Same thing with like you run down a deer and he's got all this adrenaline in his blood.
So that happens with that.
So when you choose a lobster, get them from a tank that's perfectly clean, not cloudy, not a lot of debris in it, and no dead lobsters in it. Because dead lobsters in a tank and debris in a tank will definitely affect the flavor of the lobster. Lobster will absorb the odor and flavors of the tank.
I know at your place, Keegan Seafood on Salem in Mount Washington, your tank, it's so sophisticated. You ought to go and just look at it. You've got all these air hoses running through it, and it looks like something you could swim in. It's that clean.
Okay, and also when you pick up a lobster, squeeze them on the sides right here. You want a hard shell lobster. The difference between a hard shell lobster and a paper or soft shell is you'll get 28% net weight meat out of this lobster and about 17-18% out of a lobster that has a soft shell on the side.
Because he's filled.
He's full of meat.
Heavier.
Sure.
Is that his his mouth right there opening up?
Those little hands that reach into his mouth is underneath there.
Oh, show Justin
right
that.
here.
Oh, you're not going to get bit, are you? Oh, geez.
That's his escape method. He swims backwards. He flaps his tail and gets into crevices and corners.
Oh, okay. So he's trying. Well, there's nowhere he can go here. Okay, so let's continue on with the lobster.
One of the biggest things that people ask me how to cook is lobster tails.
Yes.
So I'm actually going to take this lobster. I don't know if I should do this on camera or not. But I'm going to rip them in half and take the tail and cook the tail. And I'm going to cook the rest of the lobster in the water here, boil it. And then I'll show you how to crack the claws and then open up the middle. There's a lot of meat in the middle that most people don't know how to eat it. So we're going to show you how to do that as well.
All right. Well, let's get started on that. And is this pan big enough?
Yeah, that's good enough for the top.
All right.
Okay. So we're just going to hold them tight and squeeze them this way. And put them right in the pot.
Now his feelers are hanging out.
Yeah, he's not big enough pot. We'll have to get a bigger pot.
Okay, I'll get a bigger pot because I don't want him jumping out at me. Okay. Just teasing, but sort of. Okay,
and then this is the lobster tail. As you can see, he's still alive. And these little swimmerettes, you want to cut these off because they have little hairs on them. And they,
right behind you.
when we're going to pan sear them, so it's going to taste like burnt hairs or smell like burnt hairs. So you want to take those off. This is a male lobster. And these two little things here are sperm podules. And what they do is they inject the female lobster with these, and the female lobster can hold on to those inside her abdomen and not break into them until the conditions are correct for her to bear offspring, which I wish the humans had that technique, but unfortunately they don't. But here we go. We're going to cut, oops, sorry buddy. We're going to cut down the tail right here.
Oh, okay, I'm going to get this going
we can break those claws off and fit them in that pot. Just give me a second.
Oh, you want to do that? Leave this pot
because that water's still hot.
Okay, that's what I was concerned about. Okay, let me put this back over here then.
And then we're going to cut them in half. And we're going to pull this vein out, similar to the vein on a shrimp. And then we're going to take a fork, which I don't have prepared.
Here, I'll get you one.
I'll get one right here. Use this. We're going to pull this meat out. And the reason why we're pulling the meat out is I want to present this tail back, this meat back in the tail.
Oh, okay.
And you have better control over cooking this tail meat out of the shell than in the shell.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then what we'll do is to sanitize the shell and to make it look nice and red and everything, we're going to cook that shell in the pan. We're doing that for two reasons. Obviously to sanitize it, but also to get the flavor out of the shell. There's probably more flavor in that shell than there is. I'm making a mess out of this guy. Usually
There
comes
is a
out a
lot
lot
of flavor
easier.
in the shell. That's how when you do your bisques and
Right,
such, you cook
exactly.
the shells. Yeah.
And then, so what we're going to do is we're going to pan sear this.
Okay, I'll get you a pan.
Get it nice and red. Cook all that meat inside. And just a little olive oil, salt, and pepper. And we're going
that's
to
it.
take these out of the pan, and then we're going to cook the meat in that same pan. And then we're going to take the meat and present it back in the tail. And we'll
Is this
show you
big
that
enough?
when we come back. Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, okay, stay tuned. We'll be right
All right,
there.
thank you. As you can see, the tails are cooking up nice. They're getting nice and red.
Wow, that looks pretty.
The meat is on the inside is cooking nicely, and they're starting to curl up. So when we present them on the plate, we're just going to drop the meat in there.
So that's a sign that when they curl up, and you used a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper.
That's
was
all
it.
it was, yeah.
Okay. And you said if you have other shells, like to just put them in the pan for flavor, right?
Yeah, we had those shrimp shells, but I didn't want
Yeah.
to confuse you, but
Yeah.
you can put those in as well, and it adds more flavor to the pan.
Okay.
So
And Harvey looks like he's about done. He's awful gentle now. He doesn't look like he's going to come out and grab me.
and now in the same pan, we're going to add our meat. I put the meat on a paper towel so it wouldn't spurt up at us with this hot oil.
Okay, so the nice dry meat.
And then the lobster meat should cook very quickly. It's kind of opaque now, and when it gets white throughout,
Then it's done.
then it's done.
And I'm going to get you, you needed butter.
Yeah, we're going to add a little butter. I think we have enough salt and pepper in there. You can do a splash of white wine. If you don't want to, you can put a little garlic in if you want. I'd
Let's
rather
do the
just,
Garlic, is
just
that
a-
all right?
yeah,
Or
but
do you want
I'd-
white wine?
we could do either one.
Yeah, do you want me to get the wine out of the fridge?
Sure.
Okay. All right. And I'm just sweating some spinach here just to use as a garnish, and that took no time at all. So I'm going to pull this off the heat, and I'll get your... I don't know that we have a wine opener, though. We don't have a wine opener
You probably
here.
don't in the firehouse, do
So,
you?
but
But
let
you
me
can
get-
add, you should add just a touch of white wine in there, just
Okay.
to pull more of the flavors out.
Right.
But we'll get it out with the butter. It'll be
Okay, that sounds good. And when you have lobster, do you prefer a white wine? I'm going to go get the wine you brought.
fine. Yeah. Or a sparkly. I like a Prosecco.
Oh, yeah,
Personally.
that's good.
We're going to cut these in little pieces so it's
Here it
easy to
is.
eat and it cooks through quicker.
Okay. I'll go behind you here. This is reality cooking, folks.
Yeah, I shouldn't be cutting in the pan, but I'm trying
That's
not
all
to
right.
scratch it.
Don't worry.
As you can see, it's still
Sure,
translucent.
looks-
It's
yeah,
just
a
starting to
little
turn
bit.
white.
Yeah.
That's going to be really flavorful. Put it back in there, and then we're going to make a little sauce and pour it over it.
It smells so good.
Yeah, it does. Smells
Just
really
like
good.
that. Remember what you've always told me? Good seafood, you cook simply. You don't have to do
That's
a
true.
whole lot of stuff to it. And I'm chopping tomatoes, and I've got some garlic here for you. So you, for whatever you want. Also some green onions.
Just keep turning it until you can see that it's getting white throughout.
Uh-huh.
Cut it to the thickest part and then see if it's white, and then the other
That's
pieces will
always
be
a
ready.
good visual, isn't it, when the thickest part's white?
Yep.
And now, how long does Harvey have to stay in his little
You
cooking
should be about
liquid?
ready right there.
Okay.
Should be, what, 10, 12 minutes?
Yeah, it's been about. Now, you want me to take him and drain him out, or what are we doing?
Yeah, you can do that.
All right.
And then I'm just placing this back in.
Okay, I'll be right back. Harvey, smells good. And I noticed you left the rubber bands on when you cook, and you also removed, you broke the claws off. Whoop, I got
Add
one
a
of
little
his
bit more butter
feelers.
in there. Where's the
There we
butter
go.
at?
The butter is right there. Well, he smells good like that.
Yeah.
And do you want to, oh, let's see. You can tell you have a,
Yeah,
you're
I'll
a
take
cook.
that.
What would you like? This?
I'll take that spatula.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Make it easier.
Okay.
And just pour
A
that
little
over
bit
it.
of a butter sauce. Yum. And if you had some white wine, that would be
Be even
awesome.
better, yeah.
And here's your,
And not much white wine, just a tiny bit, just to get a little flavor, reduce it a little.
you want some
Garnish,
green?
sure.
These are actually wild green onions. Believe it or not, they're still growing. And I always tell folks they're fine. They're delicious as long as they haven't been, you know, contaminated, sprayed, and such. Did I do a good job?
Voila. That's
Okay.
great.
So there's our lobster tails. Let's set this. This is beautiful. Look at that. Lobster tails with a little bit of lemon and onion, just sauteed in a bit of butter, salt and pepper.
That's it.
Well, we're back, and it looks like Harvey is being dissected here. So tell us what you're doing with the rest of the lobster. Of course, you made those wonderful lobster tails, and now you've got the claws, and you're going to show us how to pull the meat.
Right. So you just pull that out, and you want to get this part out.
Oh, okay, that's bad. That's
And
like
we're going to save
grizzly.
these shells because we're going to use that and make a stock out of it.
Okay.
And then the best thing to do is just, actually what I like to do is pull this thing off first, just bend down on that,
Okay.
and just a little wrap like that. Comes right
Nice
out.
sharp knife. Oh my goodness.
You get the whole piece of meat right like that.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
And this
Oh
thing-
boy, he is nice and
Yeah.
plump.
Well, that's the hard shell lobster. And then just stick your finger in there.
And to get the rest of that meat out.
That's my favorite part right there.
Is it
Oh yeah.
really tender, huh? May I?
Yeah, sure.
Oh my.
Isn't that the best
Oh,
part?
that doesn't need anything.
No. And then pull
Harvey
this
did a
straight
good
like
job.
that,
Okay.
and so you get that piece out. That's what you're looking for. And then again, pull that
Bend
off.
that down.
Let's give it a little chop.
Wow, and you know, and it's coming out so nice and pretty and clean too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what I'd like to show you is how to get the meat out of this lobster. This is only 1.25 pounds lobster, so it's not going to yield a lot of body meat, but I'll show you the technique to get it out. And I'm going to rinse this out. I don't particularly like
Tell
this.
me what that is, because some
It's
people don't
the
know. I know
innards,
what
the,
it is, but it's called the tamale?
tamale is what it's called.
Okay,
Yeah.
and what is it exactly? The
It's
stomach?
The organs.
The
It's
organs.
internal
Oh.
organs.
And some people think that's quite a delicacy. I'm not so sure I'd be a fan. But you're rinsing it out.
Just to make it not as messy here.
Yeah. Okay.
And then what I did is I cut it right in half.
Yes.
And then there's a lot of meat in here that you can pick out.
Oh, look
So
at
what
that.
I do is I
yeah.
pull this whole thing out like this.
Right.
And all this meat
Oh, look at that.
gets exposed.
Uh-huh.
So there's a lot of meat in here still. Again, you can push that through.
There's no, like, easy way to eat a lobster, is there?
It's fun.
But it is.
But if you
Makes
can, as you can
work.
see, there's a lot of meat in here, and you just
Boy, I
comes in
sure do.
sections. You just pull this out.
There you go. And that's what when you get canned lobster too, that's pressurized and processed, it looks like that. But there you go.
You don't want to eat this part, which is
Which part?
this is the gills.
Where, right?
These are the gills right here.
Oh, okay. Oh, you can see they're
Yeah.
gill-like, so that's
Yep,
not
so
a
you
good
just
thing
kind
to
of
eat.
pull those off like that.
Okay. And basically eat the nice white.
And you can
Okay.
see the sections of meat right in there.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So there's a lot of meat, as you can see.
Yep.
So if you want to take the time to get it, I think it's some of the best tasting meat right
Well,
there.
and you know what? It's all about food, family, and friends. And when you're sitting down with the lobster, it makes you slow down. And I think that's
That's true.
good. That's
Good
good
point.
for our digestion, too. Okay.
All right, you guys
Alrighty.
got the idea.
All
Also,
right.
there's meat in these legs.
Yeah, what do we do? How do we do this?
Oh, I'm sorry. You just pull the leg off here, take
And
this
then
section, meat
Where
comes there.
it comes at a break?
Yep,
And then just pull it out?
yep. And if I get a lot of them, it just squeezes out like that.
Oh.
If I get a lot of them, I just lay them out like this and get a rolling pin. I
Oh, and
roll
just
the meat right out of all
What
of
a
them.
great idea. That would be my thing. That's what I would do. Okay. Oh, I did it.
Well, you can
Oh,
tell me
listen
you
to me
wanted
like
to
I'm a
hear
kid.
first.
I did it. Okay. All right.
That's your favorite part.
Is that okay? You eat that since
No,
I already
it's all
got
right.
the last one. All right.
Okay,
Well,
that's
stay
pretty much
tuned
it.
because we're gonna.
Again, save these lobster shells
yes.
and we'll make a stock out of it.
Okay. Stay tuned. We're